Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Talk Football Live Show. I'm here with two great gentlemen, Ayo and Ola. Thank you for returning. And tonight we're going to be discussing, previewing to the games coming up this weekend: Manchester United versus City, and also we'll be talking about the Spurs Arsenal game, which is the London Derby. And I know a lot of Aston and Tottenham fans are probably looking forward to that game. They will probably go through the rest of the game for the weekend as well. But before we do that, I'd like to get your views on the game that just happened, the Chelsea Fulham game. That ended 2-1, and that was additional beating to the Chelsea fans. What do you guys think? What happened? What went wrong? What could Potter have done well? We don't know whether he's going to hold the job in the in the coming days, whether he's still going to be in charge or not. But Ayo, give me your take on that game. Was that what you expected, or were you shocked?
So I saw the lineup, and I think the first thing I said was, "Oh, it looks like Potter wants to win today's game." You know, you spend a player that's costing you about £3 million a month immediately thrown into the sign-up. He started Felix with Havertz up front, Mount in behind them, and he had three actual centre backs rather than trying to fit in Cucurella in there. Cucurella was benched. He played Zakaria, who I think has actually been the best midfielder for them so far this season. And so it looked like a lineup that was set to win. But as the game progressed, I don't know, it seems too early to say, but it almost felt like the players weren't playing for him. The only player that I saw with energy trying to make things happen was Felix, right? Felix was all over the place within the first 10, 15 minutes. I think even in the very first minute, he received the ball down the channel on the right, took a player on and created a chance that Havertz should have buried. To me, that should have been Havertz making that run for him and delivering for Felix, but it was Felix making those runs and trying to make things happen. And then, of course, we know what happened. He didn't, he got sent off eventually, and Chelsea just petered out from there. So he's only a few months in, but I think, honestly, I like Potter. He's a good guy. He ended up, by the time he was leaving Brighton, he had done a great job. But I think at this point, I have to, unfortunately, put the blame at his feet. He's had time during the World Cup break to work with the team. He himself talked about, he said he believes in himself. He has the ability. He gave the example of, Arteta, Pep, and Klopp saying, they struggled initially. But the difference is with those three, we could see very early on what they were trying to do at the beginning, right? With Arteta, we could see the playing out from the back. He encouraged them even though they were making mistakes. Mustafi was there, not being comfortable. Leno was there, but we could see the identity, right? Same with Pep, same with Klopp. High gegenpressing, you could see that immediately from the first few games. Who is it? Even with Emery, we can see what Emery is doing at Villa, right? You can see the impact. With Potter, it's unfortunate. Other than we know he wants to play a back five, I haven't seen any kind of structure to say this is what Potter is looking to instill at Chelsea. And unfortunately,
so I'd like to get all out on this one, but quickly, are you calling it quit for Potter, or you still have some patience left to say, I think you can still carry on and turn around the ship?
I'm not the owner. If I was the owner, I think, especially with Chelsea's record, I would be calling it quits for Potter at this point.
Okay, all right.
I don't know what they're going to do.
I'll see if I can come back to you. I'd like to get your take all out on this Chelsea Fulham game.
Well,
what went wrong? What would you have done? Were you shocked? Were you surprised? What happened?
I wasn't too surprised because what we have not talked about is how good Fulham has been this season. That's the truth. Fulham is currently number 6 on the table. They have 19 points. They're even ahead of Chelsea on the table. Now, having said that, I don't see the direction Chelsea is going right now with Potter. I think some managers are meant for some mid-level teams, in EPL. I don't consider him. Where Chelsea is on the table is exactly where Potter deserves to be as a manager. Okay, it's just I think you're trying to fit a round peg in a square hole. That's the way I see it. I don't think it's great to the level he can coach Chelsea team. Today they started very well. I thought to myself, "Oh, this is one of the best games Chelsea is playing." The first few minutes, then everything started collapsing. Now, I don't think he will have this job for too long. I think he has maybe one more game. They haven't won more than one game in 9 games. In one game in 9 games. One victory in 9 games. So I think the handwriting is on the wall. I think Potter has a problem. He can't coach a big team like Chelsea. He should rather just coach a mid-level team. With Fulham is playing the best game of their, I've seen in a very long time. So I wasn't surprised, just to let you know.
So you're saying that Potter is out of his depth, and at this point, he should just go back to coaching the mid.
You can't give what you don't have. It's not a great manager.
All right, we'll leave down for the Chelsea owners to decide. I'd like to move on to the highlight of the day, which is those top games. I know we have a lot of interesting games coming on this weekend, but I would like to, for our viewers watching us, I would like us to talk about those two big games, and I would like to start with the Man City, Man United game, and I will kick off with you, Ola. So Man City, Man U game coming up very early on Saturday morning. What are we expecting? What should people be expecting to see in that game? What is the team news looking like? Who is in? Who is out? How do we expect Guardiola to play? I know he said he's probably going to come up with some ridiculous idea. He's trying to do something different with Man U. Do you have an insight into what Guardiola is thinking right now? Are you able to get into his brains and his mind to figure out what kind of pattern he's going to formulate against Man United? And what should Man United be doing? They have a very smooth rule right now.
Right. So, to be honest, it's only Pep that knows what Pep is going to do, just to let you know. Nobody. I don't even think his assistants know what he's going to do on Saturday. Having said that, we all look forward to this derby every year. And if you look at head-to-head, it's been even in the last 3 years. I mean, 2019, 2020, Man U won it 2 times. Then in 2020-21, everything was split into 2. But this season, we've seen the first game, which was 6-3. Man City is all out to not just to beat Man U, but to actually deal with them like you're dealing with a little baby. However, with all due respect to Man U has been playing so well in the last, 10 games. So I'm expecting to see a very tight game, just to let you know. I know Alan will always be Alan. He's had 21 goals in 17 games so far. He scored that in 12 games, like we talked about earlier. What I'm expecting to see will be a very tough game, but Alan will still be Alan. Man City will still carry the day. Now, what should we see? Or what a player you should look out for? First of all, look out for Alan and De Bruyne. De Bruyne has 9 assists so far. He's the assist person for this season. Now, on the Man U side, I want us to pay attention to what we're going to see, most especially in the front. I know Martial is in and out, of form. The most important player Man U has right now is Rashford. I think Rashford will have a wonderful game. Now, I want to say this. We've noticed in the last 3 weeks that about Cancelo has been cancelling her in and out of the formation. I don't see Cancelo starting on Saturday. I think we'll be looking at Hake and John Stone and all about the back. That's an opportunity for Rashford to do something. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but it's going to be a very tight game. A winner will be Man City, probably like 1-goal lead, like 2-1 or 1-0. That's all from me.
Either 1-0 or 2-1. Can you stick to one prediction if possible?
Well, I think 2-1. I say 2-1.
2-1 to City.
Yeah, 2-1 Man City.
Interesting. Ayo, what do you think?
So I'll start with one thing, right? When Haaland was signed this summer, he was asked a question, and he was asked which team is he most looking forward to playing, and he said, "I don't like to say their name, but Manchester United." And we saw what happened in the first game, right? It was a beatdown. It was 4-0 at halftime. The game was over. I think Man U made some changes at halftime, tried to come back. Anthony scored in the 56th minute or so. It became 4-1, and City added 2 more, 6-1. Before they allowed some late goals. I don't see the game going quite that easy for City this time around. Like Ola said, Man U have been on form. I think they've won their last 6 straight games. They haven't lost any games since the World Cup break. And we're starting to see the effect of Ten Hag's work. So kudos to him. He lost his first 2 games in charge. But again, unlike Potter, like I mentioned, you could see some of the work, you can see some of the principles of Ten Hag his game is based on quick transitions. He likes to stay compact and then explode. That's the game, and we could see that from the start. And I think he's starting to see the fruits. The players are starting to get his idea. They've missed Martial a lot because I think Martial and Rashford understand that quick transition. All that said, the game won't be easy for City, but I honestly don't see Man U beating the City team with Haaland. The only thing that I can see would be if Pep decides to do something ridiculous and drops Haaland for this game. But if Haaland starts, which I expect, I think Pep is a big fan of Haaland himself, and I expect City to win this game still. I would say 4-2. Personally, for Arsenal, as an Arsenal fan, best case would be a draw, a 2-2 draw. But I think I see City winning about 3-1. 3-1 or 4-2. 3-1.
All right, so you're going with a 4-2 prediction. City win. Wow. Yeah. Nobody's giving Man United a chance here.
They will score goals, but I expect City to take it. Edison will be back in goal. Stones and Akanji I expect in the middle of
so if I can have this, if I can have you gentlemen think about what Guardiola is probably thinking. He said we will see he's trying to come up with a ridiculous idea, right? That he wants to try out against United. Hayo, starting with you, what do you think that would look like? Have you thought about that? What kind of formation do you think Guardiola might put out? A false 9, a 9 with Haaland, and I don't know. What do you think?
So if I think about it, right, and I think some folks have talked about it this season, City are in a moment of transition under Guardiola, right? He's been very successful over the past few years. Zinchenko and Jesus, as we know, left, and they've brought in some youngsters. We're seeing the likes of Rico Lewis now, who Guardiola described him as their little Philip Lam, a right back who is very capable of playing in midfield. For a very young guy, 18 years old, is actually pretty amazing. We're seeing Cole Palmer, who he's been in and out, starting to get more chances in the first team.
Rodrigo?
So I mean, Rodri has been there, so Rodri will be there. If anything, I would say, if anything ridiculous, like I said, I think he might decide to drop Haaland and go back to a system that they've played with the last 2 years, which is to play with a false 9 and maybe play Grealish in the middle. That's the most ridiculous thing that I think he might attempt, is to go back to a system that has worked for them the past 2 seasons and do something unlikely like drop Haaland. Not to say Haaland will not play. I think Haaland will still come in eventually, but I think that might be his ridiculous idea to start off with.
Hey, I'm sorry to say this. That I respect Pep, but there's nothing he will do with Haaland. He cannot drop Haaland, just to let you know. All right?
So you will be completely shocked not to see Haaland starting that.
This guy has been dreaming of that.
That would be ridiculous.
Manchester derby. You can't drop him. There's no way. I'm looking forward to that ridiculous whatever he's going to do, but not like dropping Haaland. No way. It just can't happen.
So let's talk about the Man United defense, right? Martinez is definitely probably coming back, right? Lindelof is back from injury, right? So we don't expect to see Luke Shaw playing center back like he played some few games back.
It's going to be on the left.
And I actually think he did well, right? Better than, the captain, right? So we're probably going to have Martinez back, have Lindelof back, have Luke Shaw maybe shift back to left back.
Left back.
And I don't know if Dalot is going to take over from Wan-Bissaka. Right?
Yeah, so he said Dalot, taking him off during the game during the mid-week game was precautionary. I know Wan-Bissaka came off on him, but Ten Hag said it was precautionary. So hopefully he's fit for the game.
All right, so when you see that back line of Man United, which have been spectacular for them, right, since they are recovering, don't you think you need a very good attacking team to occupy that defense so that you could have business done in the midfield? So
that's why
do that?
As you all know, I was, I'm still a little ticked that a short center back in Martinez is thriving in the Premiership, but that's the way the game is now. So I was actually pleased to see Haaland totally dominate him in that win, and I would love to see it again this weekend.
So, look, I don't know how you guys feel about a short man playing a defense. I mean, many things work out for
not a
players
short man.
sometimes. Many times you see
It's just not
those
a
kind of ridiculous
6'4"
matchup,
like
and
Rio Ferdinand.
right. But there's no way that man of that size can stop Haaland. It's just not possible. Look,
He jumps
there are
pretty
some
fast.
things that you can gamble with. You can't gamble with this. This guy is
Not
big.
against someone that is 6'4".
He's like 6'4", like 250 pounds,
By the way, I left Varane out.
He's gonna bully you. He's a bully on the field. We know this. There's no way. You need at least two central defenders to match this guy. That's how big and fast he is. So there is no opportunity for this guy with his size to even attempt to stop Haaland. So let me just cut that out. It's not gonna happen.
On it, let's see. Do we see a very good matchup here between these two teams? I think we might, right? Because I'm beginning to look at the qualities of these teams, right? They have a very good player in Casemiro. Casemiro Rodri, 1-on-1. Right? De Bruyne versus Eriksen. Maybe De Bruyne had a little edge, right? But maybe Casemiro has a little edge over Rodri. Right? You're beginning to see my matchup there. Right?
Yeah.
Center back. Either Varane, Lindelof, or
it's going to be Varane and Martinez, I believe.
Right? Then you have John Stones, Ake, Laporte. We don't know who's going to make it. Akanji, right? So I think when you look at these teams one-on-one, this is a very good matchup. They have Rashford, who is a very informed winger right now, right? They have Mahrez, who is also informed. Grealish is not up to his form, hasn't been up to his form in the last 2 seasons since they crossed over.
Grealish is having a good season. I mean, I think he's having a better season.
You think so right now? How many goals has he scored?
Oh, well, the last game, he was the one that caused the assist. Look at the assist he gave to Haaland in their last game. He actually played well. He's been playing well after the World Cup. I can't remember.
He had an assist from Mahrez as well.
Yeah. Mahrez he's been very good this season.
Keep going.
No, I was just going to say, Grealish has 1 goal and 3 assists so far in the Premier League this season.
I think that's underperforming, 100 million.
Compared to what he did the past few seasons, I think last season he had 3 goals the whole season and 3 assists the whole season in 26 games. So I think so far he's getting a better output and is maybe starting to understand when to give that final ball in a City attack and when not to just run with the ball and draw fouls.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So any other? So you're going 4-2 City. You're going 2-1 City. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys not gonna change your predictions based on those matchups?
I am not going to
change mine. City game. Personally, I'll be open for a draw. As an Arsenal fan, I'll be rooting for a draw. But and I think it's possible, very very possible, because Man United is on a good rise. They're playing at home. I expect them to play with confidence. I expect them to come out attacking, not allowing City to dominate. Now, are they going to play tactical and let City dominate and rely on the attacking football? Which I think it's very possible. If you watch the Brentford City game, Brentford controlled the game not by having the ball possession, but by determining how they want City to play and where they want City to play, knowing that they have strikers that can play on a fast break and convert, right? I don't know. That could be a possibility. Eriksen has a very good sight. He could locate people. He could play those very good passes. Fernandes can push up when needed, right? And Rashford can just launch on the break. So there could be opportunity for them to actually go against a very leaky City defense. That would be my take. And I think if they can do that, I think City will score regardless. I just don't see them not scoring in this game.
Yes.
With that kind of firepower. But I also see an opportunity for United if they could take their chances.
Yeah, with Haaland and with the way Man U are playing at the moment, I think it's guaranteed that both teams will score. So I think we can confirm that we will not have a goalless draw in that game.
That's confirmed.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to move on, and I'd like to move on to the Spurs Arsenal game, which is another exciting game that we're expecting to see on Sunday. I know Spurs is dealing with a lot of injuries. Arsenal is still having Jesus out, which is going to be a big miss. But Nketiah has been living up to expectations. So whether it's going to be able to fill the big shoe, I don't know. And I actually think this is probably going to be a first derby game for him that is probably going to be starting. So
Right.
that's a good opportunity. I hope it's not anxious. I hope his confidence is able to, to manage the game and deliver. I don't know of any other injury scare with the Arsenal team. Saka is back, so I think that was a precautionary withdrawal during the midweek for the FA Cup. So Spurs at home against Arsenal. Hayo, what is your prediction? What is the possible lineup? How do you expect Spurs to play? And how do you expect Arteta to make his team play?
I'm almost going to be arrogant at the moment, but I would say I'm not I'm not worried about that game. I had a slight concern when the reports came in that Saka was injured, but the press conference afterwards, Arteta said he's fine, and we know that Saka is curable. So if Saka is available, I think we had good news as well. Emil Smith-Rowe is back available. We remember what he did with Aubameyang last season in the derby. So with Smith-Rowe back, Martinelli is fit, Saka is fit. We've seen Nketiah is, doing a better job even than he did towards the end of last season in leading the line. He's more capable now of dropping deeper to receive the ball, getting the ball at his feet, and is also arriving in the box. I was telling Ola just before, right? Against Oxford, I loved his finishes, not because he scored goals, but because of the way he took those goals. Because when you play, I mean, we talked about Lokonga and what Lokonga is doing at the moment. When you play a team at the level of Oxford, a League One team, if you are a superstar, a better player, we expect your quality to shine through against such opposition, and that's what I liked about his finishes, right? The first ball, he had the right run, excellent through ball from Vieira. He played it on the inside of the defender, not on the outside. And Nketiah knew to run onto that ball. He had the composure to round the keeper and finish calmly. The second was a run in through. He started the move actually in midfield. He won the ball in midfield, laid off to Martinelli, and put in the effort to get and arrive in the box. He arrived onto the ball, and it was a calm dink over the keeper as well. So when you see that quality, that's what I expect, right? That we see your quality against the opposition. So I'm expecting him to continue delivering against Spurs. The way Arsenal is playing right now, they're almost unstoppable, especially with no injuries. We're likely to have the same starting 11. Ramsdale in goal, Ben White at right back, Saliba and Gabriel in middle. Zinchenko will most likely start. Again, Zinchenko is key for us at the moment because he allows better control of the ball. He knows when to hang out wide and he knows when to come into the middle. I think that was something that was specific that I noticed against Newcastle. People talk about him a lot about his ability to come into midfield and to receive the ball and help control in midfield. But you could see in that match against Newcastle, Almiron was pulling in wide to constrict the space in the middle, and Zinchenko had the knowledge or the awareness to pull out to the wing to receive the ball. So I expect that to continue. I expect we will dominate against Spurs. Spurs have their key man, Kulusevski, who has been, making these things happen for Conte's team this season out, which is a blessing for us. So with Kulusevski out and the way Spurs are performing right now, I expect a good victory in that game. I would say maybe even 2 or 3-0 win.
Wow. Were you surprised to see Spurs go to Crystal Palace and win 4-0?
No, not really. That I would say 4-0 was surprising. Yeah, I would say that was the win wasn't surprising, but the 4-0 win was surprising. I don't think Palace stood up in that game.
The players that might not be available were also missing in that game, and they were able to kind of get the result out at Crystal Palace. So now they're going to be playing at home. This is derby. this is going to be ringing into their ears to like, hey, we can't afford to lose. So I don't know, but I'd like to get Ola's take on this, right? You think Arsenal is going to run it down to 2-0, 3-0 like how you predicted?
So the good news is there's so much confidence in the Arsenal side. That's the good news. The other good news is there's so much injury worry with the Tottenham team. So having said that, hey, I still have my reservation. We're playing Arsenal as an Arsenal fan. We're not playing against Conte. That guy, the manager, current manager of Tottenham, even though he hasn't had a good run in recent time, except for the 4-0 win over Crystal Palace, but this is a guy that can still get something out of nothing. All right. So for me, any team that want to play Arsenal right now will be praying or trying to survive the game by playing a draw. And I think that's what Tottenham will likely want to come with this weekend when they play Arsenal. But the odds are not in favor of Tottenham. We are talking about, very fluid, very intelligent team Arsenal has built. And look at the run in the last, this season. I'm expecting Odegaard to dominate right from third quarter of the field forward. I'm expecting him to be all over the place. The good news is Hugo Lloris is not the best goalkeeper that he used to be. So let's add that as a plus for us. I'm expecting Ketia to perform. Even this might be his first debut that he's starting. I'm expecting Ketia to perform very well. Again, let's give it to Martinelli and Saka. Those guys have been delivering since the World Cup is over. They are proven over time. Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka, they will always give us something. So I'm looking forward to that. In our defense, I have so much confidence. The only threat to us now in the defense will be Kane. Kane, even if he doesn't score with his head, with his leg, he will get a penalty kick. That's where the problem is. The penalty kick, I need Gabriel, please, wherever you are, be patient with this guy. This guy will always look for a penalty kick. Now, Son is not playing the best game this season. That's the Tottenham guy. He's still a very dangerous guy. I remember he scored a consolation goal the last time we met with them, I think, 3-1. But he hasn't been the best. He hasn't been at his best this season. So it's not really a threat for us. But Kane, we always score. He has scored better than all the derby games except for this season. So that matchup with Kane and probably Saliba is what I'm looking forward to. I don't want Gabriel to be the one around Kane. It's just very it could be very childish or careless sometimes. So now in terms of time, Arsenal will win this game for sure. Because if Tottenham could be in Newcastle, I am very confident. If Tottenham can do what Newcastle did, they probably be rooting for a draw. But there's no draw in this game. The truth is, Arsenal will beat Tottenham, and I'm looking for like 2-0 win Arsenal. 2-0.
Wow, this is I must admit that this is too much confidence that I can handle. I don't think if I'm on this page as you guys, but I would love Arsenal to win. I wish we can win.
What do you see happening in the game, Biero?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's going to be a tough game. One thing I know for sure is it's not going to be Tottenham is not going to play as defensive as we, experienced against Newcastle. What does that mean? They're probably going to want to. I don't think they will defend, and I don't think they will come out for a draw. I don't think so.
No, they don't have the quality to do it. Yeah,
I think they will play for a win. They have a top manager. They still have some quality players if some of them are injured. And I think these are matured and experienced players that will not cave. Højbjerg is going to do his thing. And for me, I'll tell you, I think the game, Arsenal's chances lies with Odegaard. Arsenal's chance of winning lies with Odegaard. If Odegaard had a very good game, then I see us win. If Odegaard is marked out of that game like he was out of form against Newcastle, then we're going to have to struggle. And at the very moment, we don't have a deep bench. So it's hard for the coach to make changes. Because there's nobody on the bench that you can look to say, if I'm taking out Odegaard, can you do better? I'm not saying there is not. We just don't have that quality on the bench.
Allah is trolling you.
I know. We just don't have the quality on the bench to bring on somebody to do something different. Arteta's style has been plan A, and when plan A fails, continue on plan A. And when plan A continues to fail, double down on plan A.
Yeah.
We are not like City. Plan B, plan C, because we don't have such bench. If I were Conte, I would play out Odegaard. I know somebody that can do that job. Odegaard can do that. So if Odegaard can chase Odegaard down, have Bissouma play in front of the back four or back three like he likes to play, they might have a good way to tactically play us out. Now,
so you think Højbjerg? You think he will start Højbjerg and Bissouma then in the center of midfield?
I think it will be too defensive. I haven't seen him play like that, but it's a possibility because Bentancur, I don't know if
both of them two games ago or so.
Yeah, if Bentancur was fit, he'll probably play Højbjerg and Bentancur because he wants some fluidity as well. He doesn't want to static, off a shape. So Bissouma is more defensive because he reads the game, he tries to give you a cover. Højbjerg has the energy and the work rate to go back and forth, right? So knowing Conte is probably want to play and intercept as much as he can intercept and break up the play because he knows that Arsenal will come with a very good game. And he wouldn't want that. He doesn't want that fluidity. So he's going to try to break up the game. Breaking up the game means play out Odegaard, cut off Saka, and Martinelli push them out. I think Saka and Martinelli can do the impossible by beating 2 or 3 players. They can beat 2 or 3 players, then now open up Tottenham. Nketiah just need to be faster and read the game. The game against Oxford, I watched some moments whereby Nketiah made some runs. He made runs. He signified, and nobody saw him.
Yeah.
And I was screaming at the TV like, he's making a run. He's making a run. But nobody's looking up. Nobody's seeing him.
That was Timby. Timby doesn't have the quality
exactly.
to identify that.
They look down a lot. Vieira, Sandy, these guys are not the quality of our current team, right?
Yeah.
So you need people like Odegaard, Xhaka, Partey to spot the runs of Nketiah or even Martinelli that will push wider and make that true ball quickly. As long as Conte is able to break up the game, then it's going to be a very balanced game. If Conte fails to do that with his boys, then I see us operating very well. And I see Odegaard having enough time. Odegaard needs time. He's quick, but he's not as quick as KDB. If you watch KDB, De Bruyne turns because he uses both legs very quickly. Odegaard has a better left leg than the right leg.
He needs to
get that left leg to think very fast. KDB can use both. So by the time you're thinking that he's on his left, he's shifted. Now, watch the game against Southampton, even though he lost. The second touch on his ball, it was a good ball. Alvarez should have scored that ball. That should have been a 2. He came in and he turned between 2 players because he played a 2 touches. Pam, pam. So Odegaard is so reliant on his left leg. And I think he's getting there. But that's what I've seen. I love him. I like his style. It's growing. It's developing. He just needs to get to that level. So if I were Conte, I would have my game plan already.
So are you telling me you're convinced by Odegaard now?
What did you say?
Are you telling me you are convinced by Odegaard's quality now?
Yeah, he's really like shut me up a little bit.
That was his story last year, though. We remember.
No, I mean, the best game was what was that game? Was it West Ham? It wasn't. What was the game we'll play after West Ham?
Brighton 4-2.
No, I think it was actually West Ham.
The West Ham
game, it did some stupid and crazy stuff.
So
that game.
Let me just tell you though. Well, if they decide to shut down, the good news if they decide to shut down Odegaard, but there's no way. They don't have a solution for Martinelli. Martinelli is going to run like a crazy
The
lion.
way we
Like,
play, right? The way we play. So
yeah,
Martinelli a season ago or even 2 seasons ago is
Yeah.
going. And I called it out to another colleague of us, right? He likes to hold the ball too much and he likes to come
Yes.
into the middle, right? Now we have a guy that can control our game, which is Odegaard. So he doesn't need to do that much, right? Now, if Jesus comes back, the two of them like to do that stuff. They like to hold the ball, come back into the middle, dribble and all that, which is great. I just don't like him doing it because I don't want him to get injured, because I don't want him to be out.
Yeah.
Right? So that's why I need him to play with some maturity and not do that. So if you are asking him to do that, yes, he can do that. The risk to that is him getting injured. And the risk is when he does that, I still need somebody to open them up on that side. So we're going to have the possession, but we are not attacking to create a chance to create goals. So I need him to stay permanently.
So who's going to be on that side to try to stop him? A guy called Romero. I wish him good luck on that. Romero?
I'm not worried about Romero, to be honest.
At all. I'm not even worried at all. He can't even stop that guy.
Is going to be taken off.
Yeah.
Right?
All right. So what's your
Argentina?
So what's your call?
White is fit, I think my call, so my conservative call will be a 2-2.
2-2. Okay.
Will be a 2-2, but I think we can snatch a 3-2.
So you mean Tottenham will score 2 goals? Really?
Yeah, because they don't need to play. If you watch their games, right? It's a conversion rate.
Okay.
If the ball gets, and again, Son is a very tricky player. This might be a game that is just going to decide to show up. Now, as long as we are not playing Rob Holding,
no way.
I remember that game.
No way.
And that's where I'm not playing for some stupid fouls to lead to a red card or somebody fouling and messing up the entire game plan, right?
Nah,
Saliba, I hope he's fit. He wasn't on the bench on the last game. I don't know what's going on. I hope he's not
just
sick.
Rested.
I hope he's just rested. He's slowly coming back from the World Cup. And his first 2 games, it was a bit shaky. I don't know if you guys noticed.
I agreed.
Because of that, I remember.
Some indecision, even the West Ham game. So if you watch the West Ham game, that was a blunder.
2 goals were on him.
Sorry?
I said 2 goals were on him after World Cup. I remember those 2
after that World Cup, he made some technical faults. That first goal against West Ham, it was an indecision, even though it wasn't his fault originally. It was a miss from Zinchenko and Partey that should have been covering for him. But he decided to go, then decided not to go, which is nothing that you would expect an informed defender to do. An informed defender should know when to go and you go, or you don't go or you stay. So that led to the penalty. You can't do that against Harry Kane. Those are quick and intelligent players. They would just capitalize on your mistake. If they feel like you're gambling, they just keep playing at you. Harry Kane will just keep coming to you. So he cannot show that weakness. He cannot show that he's not ready. He cannot show that he's not fit. He cannot show that he's 2 seconds late.
Yep.
That is where I see their chances. Do I want them to score? No. But would they have a cross into the box? Would they have a chance whereby Ike breaks away? It could be. It's possible with Zinchenko playing there, which is going to give us options when we have the ball. When we don't have the ball, I don't know. That's my concept.
So if after don't have the ball, you mean that means Tottenham dominate the ball? I don't see how they're going to do that.
I'm talking about when we don't have the ball and
on the break
has to defend.
Okay.
I mean, you're asking me about how I see Tottenham scoring. I don't. To be honest, I think the possession will end up more on the Aston team. I know that for sure.
Okay.
I'm going to have more of the possession. I'm thinking about where their chances might come from. Their chances might come from when we don't have the ball, and somebody as a coach. If I'm thinking as a coach now, Conte, I would build my attack around Zinchenko. I will never even dare to do it against Ben White because that's a solid guy. Nothing is going to happen on that side. Because if you try to attack on that side, you lose the ball, you have Saka and Ben White combining. You're in trouble.
Yeah.
So you probably want Harry Kane and maybe Billy Gill, I don't know. God forbid Kulusevski is in the game, but let's say Kulusevski comes into the game. That is Kulusevski and Harry Kane playing on that side against Zinchenko. That's a problem
Yeah.
right there.
So that's my
And if that
worry.
happens on that day, I expect Xhaka and Partey to figure that out right away and just break the play. And let Martinelli not push for that. So I would expect Martinelli to start very slow, which is a disadvantage to us because Martinelli has to give cover to whoever is playing that left back.
That's why I don't like.
That's definitely Spurs' strong
The
side this season. Son hasn't been as good. Matt Doherty has been having an excellent game so far this season.
Exactly.
And he's been combining well when
all the way
Kulusevski
from
plays.
the left back and from the right back.
Yeah.
See,
But
I
still don't see Spurs scoring more than one goal though. But again, like I said, I might be being a bit overconfident.
If you guys remember, right, Chelsea Tottenham. What was the final score? 2-2. They didn't play anything. Chelsea dominated.
Yeah.
But they had the chances and Harry Kane finished it.
So my fear right now is Zinchenko. I don't think playing Tottenham we need Zinchenko. I would play Kieran Tierney ahead of Zinchenko. Just for me being conservative, because look, this is where you're gonna see Harry Kane when he sees that the middle is not is a no-go area for him because you have Saliba and probably Gabriel chasing him around in the middle. He's probably gonna go to the right. He's done it before. He's a very fluid guy. He goes anywhere he sees chance, he will go. Zinchenko is a midfielder, not your defender that you want to try to use to stop some. That's just my fear. He's gonna favor us on the attack, but on the defense, I'm weary about having the guy play the three. But at this point, I think he's rather brother-in-law or son-in-law to Arteta. So Arteta will feature him. There's no way about that. No two way about that.
So I think that's where, and I think I made this mistake initially, and I'm starting to recognize more what Zinchenko brings to the game, right? It's in terms of the control and choking up the space in the middle. And I think that's where Harry Kane will struggle. It's not a matter of Harry Kane pulling out to the right. Harry Kane pulling out to the right is not going to have an effect because Harry Kane will not have that supply line regardless of where he is on the pitch. And that's what Zinchenko brings. It's in that control. And he understands the press. When we lose the ball, he understands where to be on the press, right in the midfield. And if we don't, he understands where to be back in position on the defense. So I'm not worried about Zinchenko in this game. Against different opposition, against maybe City or Man U, I might actually be worried about Zinchenko, but not against Spurs.
And I agree with you. So if you've watched the way we've been playing lately, right? I mean, maybe not lately, like since Arteta started crafting out this design. When we have the ball, when we build from the back, that defense turns into a 3-man defense. Gabriel moves to the left.
Yes.
Saliba stays in the middle.
Yep.
And then White closes it. Takes care. Zinchenko comes straight into the middle with Partey.
Right beside Partey.
Xhaka behind.
Yeah.
Zinchenko to receive. So you have two midfielders ready to receive.
Right.
And that's what they do. To Ayos's point, yes. Harry Kane, Kulusevski, whoever plays on that side, will not have the ball to even do anything. The problem is if we lose the ball,
counter-attack. Yeah.
I still expect Gabriel to cover because typically, if you watch very well, Gabriel normally just plays it to throw in, blocks it, prevents them from going forward. So we're always covered with that shape. That's what they're trying to, perfect. Gabriel, 3-man defense, have to Zinchenko and Partey to receive. And when we receive that, you can see most of the time they even play with the ball. Open, like that Newcastle, you don't watch Newcastle very well. They open that, Newcastle will come. So Zinchenko and Partey kept passing, open for them to open up. Because Xhaka is actually behind. So that Xhaka can take the ball. And if Xhaka takes the ball, he has two options. Either Martinelli makes a run, or he changes and switches to the other side. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I need Odegaard. To be honest, if Odegaard gets the game right, I think we are in business. Because he can see anybody. You can see anybody, and Romero, Sanchez, whoever, they would have the problem of who do we take, who do we mark, who do we go after? Is it Saka? Is it Nketiah? Is it Ben White? They're going to have that problem because Ben White is not afraid of coming forward.
Yeah.
So that's where I see the game. Zinchenko gives us that ability. We've been having issues with Tierney and Tomiyasu playing because they've been playing traditional back 2 and 3. And that's the problem. The two of them are playing that traditional style. And that's where we have the challenge. That's where the coach prefers to start Zinchenko. But we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's enough on Arsenal Spurs. Can we have the table and actually just look at the remaining fixtures and see what predictions will
let's take a look at the rest of the games.
All right. So Aston Villa Leeds. I'm going to start with you, higher. Emery is doing a great job. This is a team that actually went to Spurs and beat Spurs, right? But they lost out in I think it was last weekend during the FA Cup. So they're going to play Leeds. This is a very versatile team. This is a team that has a lot of energy, young players. They run a lot. They're not afraid. What do you think about this game?
I see a win for Villa in this game. Leeds have been doing well this season, but they're struggling defensively. It's always been an Achilles heel, but under Jesse Marsch, I don't think they've quite figured it out. They look very good going forward. The same style with Leeds, where we know it's all-out attack, all-out defense. You have runners all over the field. Rodrigo is having a fantastic season. He's back. It looks like Bamford is back and will be in the squad as well, but on the bench. But Villa under Emery look very capable. One thing that I learned from Emery while he was at Arsenal was he plans his squad and he plans for the whole 90. He has a plan for the first 30, 60 minutes, and he plans, for the rest of the game, thinking of the squad in mind. It's not just I'm going to put my best 11. I'm going to start the 11 that is going to do the best job for the first 60. And so far, I think he's won 3 or 4 games while he's been in charge. We've seen Villa have been very dynamic going forward. Danny Ings, so like I said, with his planning, Danny Ings comes in towards the end of the game and has gotten goals off the bench for them. I expecting maybe a 2-1 win for Villa in this game.
All right, Hola, what do you think? You agree? You disagree? Aston Villa Leeds.
Well, let me start by saying I'm calling the Aston Villa will beat Leeds. Let me start with that. Why did I say that? Just look at their tracker in the last 5 games. I think they haven't lost any game in the last 5. I think they won 4 and draw 1. I don't have my statistic on top of my head, but here's the good news about that team. They have a very solid manager. Now, I said something earlier. There are some managers that are meant for top 4. There are some managers meant for mid-level. So this is a manager meant or fit for Aston Villa. Round peg in round hole. He knows the team like he's been coaching them forever. He has defined an identity for the team. So unlike some other teams that don't have identity, he knows what the team needs to do and they are delivering for him. Now, if you notice the entire Aston Villa, there's no one-star player. That's one thing about Emery. Emery will build a team, not just building a team around one player. So having said that, I see like a 2-0 win for Aston Villa. Leeds, no offense, it's also a very good mid-level team. They're playing a very good game. But with the way the Aston Villa boys are motivated, I see Aston Villa win like a 2-0. So I'll call it a 2-0 win for Aston Villa.
Wow, interesting. Well, I think this game will probably end up as a draw. I see Emery's team struggling against a very fast team like Leeds, but who knows? We'll see.
All right. I expect Leeds will score. Leeds will score for sure, but I expect Villa to take it.
Yeah. Brighton Liverpool. This is going to be a tough game for Liverpool. Because I know Brighton is a solid team. And it's funny that they've actually even improved since Potter left. I think there was a time on the show
Zerbi is a
when
very good
we're talking
manager.
about Charles, when we're talking about the DNA that the coach left, right? So Brighton is doing fantastic. Liverpool is still swinging, pendulum, right? Hot
What
and
do you
cold.
think makes Brighton tick, Biodo? What is it? What is it about their strategy or the way they're playing? What is making them tick this season?
That is a tough question. I'll say this. I think Brighton, and again, this credit will probably go to Potter. That was a team that was formed, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a mid-table team, meaning they don't play the same style every game.
Mm-hmm.
And they play to their strengths. They have very energetic players, and those are the kind of players that they go after. They hold the ball when they need to hold the ball, and they know when to attack. So, for example, I have seen Brighton play and wait for the ball against top teams. I have seen Brighton play and dominate in some other games. It's really hard for me to say this is one particular style. I think they have played with managers that understand the opponent and say, this is how we should play. And I'll give you examples. There were times whereby it would deploy Lamptey
Mm-hmm.
in an attacking mode or
Mm-hmm.
wing back, depending on who they are playing with. Now they have this guy, Mizuma, that they are given freedom to operate anyhow. Then they replaced Bisuma with Casedo, right? Then the buy players that can run and play box to box, like McAllister, and challenge you for the game. So I think it's a team that is built around tactics
Mm-hmm.
for every game. And that's where I see them developing a lot. And it's a team of young players that somebody has found a way to kind of instill confidence in them to say, just go out there, enjoy yourself, play to this instruction, and you have a very good game. That's what I've seen. So what makes
Okay.
them tick for me? Now, the coach left that I think created that culture. Because if you remember, we faced this team when Ateta just got the job, right? And
Right.
they gave us tough time. They actually made us not make Europe, I think 2 times, right? Then the coach left and they got this another coach and was able to pick up from that. So I think they recognize the work that the manager is trying to do and they just buy into that mentality
Mm.
and they don't disagree. If a manager wants to play this way, we will play that way for you. And I think that's what makes them tick as a collection of players compared
So
to.
who wins the game? Do you see Brighton taking the win against Liverpool?
I think this game might also be another draw. I don't think they're gonna cave to Liverpool, to be honest, because these guys
Okay.
refuse to cave to us.
Make a
Even though
call.
we were up like 3 goals, right? They
Yep.
came out. If that game continued, the momentum already shifted, and they kept on coming at us. So
All right.
I don't think they will cave to Liverpool. I think it's going to end up as a draw 3-3.
All right. In my quick call, I see Brighton winning this game 1-0. Okay. Why?
Oh, bold.
1-0. Because Brighton is at home. Brighton is playing one of the best games I've seen that team play in recent time. Arsenal were lucky to score some quick 3 goals before they got their mojo back and they started attacking us like crazy. Give credit to Ben White. The moment Ben White left, everything just crumbled. Okay, I haven't said that. Now, there's a lot of injury worry with Liverpool. Van Dijk is on the injury list. That's one of the best defenders in the Premier League. We have Luis Diaz is injured. Jota is out. Firmino is out. So these are the worries, I think. And I see what Join Club has been doing lately. They bring out some new faces, some young boys to join the squad. I don't think that will be enough to stop, Brighton. Brighton have the confidence. They're going to be playing at home. I'm looking forward to that game. And there's this guy. I don't know if you guys remember Trossard or something like that. The guy Brighton that
Yeah,
plays for
Leandro
Brighton.
Trossard.
Very good guy. Very, very good guy before he had that injury. I don't know if when the time when he's going to be back. I don't know what is going to happen, but I think I kind of feel Brighton is going to take this at home. 1-0 Brighton against Liverpool.
Aya, your prediction.
I guess I'm a pseudo Liverpool fan. I still so Gakpo. I noticed Gakpo is in training for Liverpool.
He actually
I'm
played.
curious.
Played during the week.
Oh, really? Okay, I missed
Yeah,
that.
he played the FA Cup. Yeah,
Okay,
actually on
okay,
Sunday. Yeah.
yeah, okay. How did they line up? I missed that. How did
Yeah.
they line
So
up with Gakpo? Did he start the game?
that was the game against Wolves that ended 2-2, which everybody believed should have ended 3-2 because that third goal, people just don't see the offside. The referee called it, then review the VAR. Actually, they reviewed VAR. They showed it once, and they ruled out the third goal, which should have been a winning goal for Wolves. So he had Gakpo play. He had Nunes, who scored the equalizer. He had Alexander Oxlade, who is playing now because some key players are injured.
Wow.
Regular players. So I think we know this already. Van Dijk is out for a month.
Yeah.
So Van Dijk is out. So the defense is in the hands of Matip and Fabio and the like. So Liverpool is still. If you watch that game, to be honest, it was very disappointing. And Klopp was really trying to defend his team. A lot of people went at him and said, maybe he's actually planning to leave because why buying so many players? Why even buying Gakpo? Does Gakpo fit into your profile? And he's bought so many players and people don't know. It's like Chelsea. I mean, I think after Chelsea, Liverpool is the next team that has been buying Rishi, right? So, so we really don't know what the strategy is. We understand that he has injury problems. But you buy players that people are not seeing them play like they used to play. Now, how big was money on that team? That's a question that somebody needs to explain to me. It seems like the impact of this guy leaving is so huge, like too much, that cannot be fixed, right? So, to be honest, it wasn't a good debut for Gakpo.
I think it's not just the impact of money, right? It was the connection that the front three had. And I think with Firmino being injured, with Jota fitting seamlessly into that lineup, with Jota and Mane, people who understand the press, I think with those two being out, Diaz was starting to fit into the team as well. And when you have players who understand the strategy, the tactics, because at this level, right, there are nuances, there are very little nuances, knowing when to press, knowing when to drop off, watching and being aware of when to start the press. At that level, if you have players who don't understand those little nuances, it can cost the whole team. So it's not just money. I think it's affecting the whole team. I actually just pulled up the lineup because I was wondering if Gakpo would be asked to fit into that left side that, Jota and what's his name, Diaz have been missing in. And I see he started Gakpo on the left. I think he's going to continue with that. We're trying to play Gakpo in that slot. I think I would go with a draw as well for this game, maybe a 2-2 draw with Brighton.
Yeah. So, question for you, right? And I'm just looking at the lineup. The last Premier League game they had was against Brentford that they lost 3-1, right? The lineup, the front three was Darwin Nunes, Salah, and Oxlade. So I don't know if Gakpo is going to start. If he starts, maybe you have to shift Nunes to the left.
Yeah, but it's different, right? So before they brought in Gakpo, and I guess before Oxlade played, he adjusted the formation a bit where he was playing a diamond 4, and he had Salah and Nunes up front. I think that was working for them, but I don't think it's the desired formation for a Klopp's style, especially when you have the front press, so the gegen press that he likes to adopt. So that explains why he's switching now back to a 4-3-3.
So how will Gakpo fit in if he's to start on Saturday?
Yeah, I think he will start on the left along with Nunes. Nunes being in the middle and Salah back on the right.
Salah back on the right. So Chamberlain will probably go back to the bench.
except he decides to start Oxlade ahead of Capo.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Yeah, but I just don't want us to overlook Brighton. They've had, other than that Arsenal game that they lost, every other. I mean, this team went to Everton. They destroyed Everton.
Yeah, that's why I expected 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I'll go with 3-3.
Wow. Okay.
Everton, Southampton.
Right,
while we're still waiting for the next coach to be fired, we don't know whether it's going to be Lampard or it's going to be Vieira. Who knows? I don't think Nottingham Forest is going to fire their coach, so I'm not even going to think about that.
No, Tottenham is on the
whatever
up.
happens, you stay there, you go back to relegation with us.
Yeah.
So Everton, Southampton,
Southampton takes it.
Southampton takes
Everton,
it.
I think so. Everton is struggling with injuries at the moment, although they did get Dominic Calvert-Lewin back. He played in the FA Cup game as well. Southampton, as we know, beat City during the week, but Everton just look all over the place at the moment. I don't know what's going on with Lampard and the work he's doing there. I don't know if it's the injuries, but I am expecting a loss in that game.
Well, but we all know Lampard is never consistent. Sometimes you have like few weeks of good performances and you just crumble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that very reliable a coach, in my own opinion. So I expect Everton to struggle. They might be lucky to get a draw because they are playing at home. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've lost their last 2 games. They got destroyed by Brighton, as Bjorn said, 4-1, and the game before that they lost to Man Utd 3-1.
Yeah.
The game against Brighton, they were at home, by the way. They were at home to Brighton, and they lost.
Yeah. Brighton is a superior to Everton. We all know that. Hey, why not we talk about people that Newcastle Fulham? That should be a very good night matchup. You know, Newcastle is playing a very, very interesting game, but Fulham is not. It's not a bad team either. We saw what the Mr. Willian did today. I was playing as if he was not the same guy he's in his 30s. It was like an ageless Mr. Willian today. So that is going to be a very important game to watch out for Sunday. Newcastle Fulham. But I think Newcastle will win.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, I would rate Newcastle more than Fulham. Mitrovic should be back, which will probably give them some more attacking power. But I will still put Newcastle on top. So I expect Newcastle to win, especially when they are playing at home. If Newcastle plays you, like really play the way they like to play, they're handful, and they could be a problem for you to handle. I just don't know if Fulham can handle that much power.
Yeah.
Right, Ayo.
Yeah, I was thinking about the game. So Newcastle, right? Newcastle has the habit of shutting teams down if they think you have some attacking power. Fulham is suspect defensively. They've been doing okay, right? But the partnership behind of Tim Ream and Tosin, I don't think is the best. Those two, they have leaks in them, and with Anthony Robinson, we spoke of Anthony Robinson's deficiencies during the World Cup. He's very good going forward, but he has some deficiencies defensively, and I think Newcastle will overcome them. Yeah, I expect it either a 2-1. I don't even see Mitrovic getting a goal because Newcastle are so stubborn defensively. I don't against Sven Botman and Fabian Schär and the likes. Those are big enough defenders that he won't be able to bully them. Yeah.
I agree with you, and I think you just pointed out the weakness in Fulham. And I've been saying this again. I've watched Tosin right from the days of Man City. I wish he stayed. I wish he enjoyed the benefit that Stones had today to become a very good player. I don't think Guardiola was patient enough to help him get to that level because he's as soft as Stones. I mean, for me, I like defenders that are a bit, physical and could get a little rough. Tosin is too clean for a defender. He likes to play clean football, and I just think it's too nice playing defense.
Yeah.
And I think it's a weakness for Fulham himself combined with Ream. And I think that's something that Newcastle will just shatter anyhow. I mean, I don't know how you're going to hold Wilson, you're going to hold Joe Linton, you're going to hold Willock and Amiron running into you every now and then. I think it's going to be too much for them.
I think it'll be too much for them.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. So I think we all agree that Newcastle will probably win that game. If they draw, I think it would be a good result for Arsenal. Not that I care, but well, they could also draw, but I think they should win that game. Right. Nottingham, Leicester. Leicester is not doing great as well. They're in a very bad situation. The form is poor. Nottingham Forest, that's Nottingham sits at the bottom of the table.
Oh, not anymore. I don't know if you've looked at the table recently.
No, but I mean, we're talking about 2 point difference. Those things change every week. You know that. So somebody wins again, then they go back. That's the way it's been happening. Right?
None of them have been getting results the last few games.
Nottingham is number 15 right now. Just to let you know.
That's slowly climbing.
I mean, look at the result. It's 17, 16, 15, 14, guys.
It's close. I agree. It's close. I agree. It's close.
I mean, Leicester is 17. So 13 all the way to 20. All of them are relegation candidates. Number 13
potential relegation candidates.
Yeah, they are candidates for relegation because it's just 1 point difference. So once someone wins the game, then you get out. You lose the game, you drop it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the last 2 games, right? They drew against Chelsea 1-1 and they beat Southampton 1-0 in the last game.
Yeah.
The game before that, they lost 3-0 to Man Utd, which is understandable. But they're starting to climb their way back up. They won, their EPL Cup during the week, their quarterfinal against Wolves penalties.
By the way, Southampton has won
semifinals now, the League Cup.
More cup games than league games, just so you know.
Wow.
So they might be doing well in the cup games, but
you
don't expect too much in the league game. So Nottingham Forest, Leicester, what's going to happen?
I think this might be another draw, a 1-1 draw. That's what I see.
You don't think this is an opportunity for Leicester to prove something? I mean, this is a weak side for Leicester to not.
No, because like I said, I think Nottingham Forest are on the up. They seem to have what's his name? I'm forgetting the manager's name at the moment.
Brendan Rodgers?
No, I'm talking of Forest. Couple. He seems to have figured out his starting 11. As we know, they bought like crazy. They bought 26 players during the summer, and they've bought I think a couple more again this January. But I think he seems to have figured out his 11. And the only place where he rotates now is whether to start Awoniyi or whether to play Morgan Gibbs. During the week, he played Morgan Gibbs as a false 9. But typically, he starts either Awoniyi or Brennan Johnson up top or on the wing. I think that's the only place he rotates. But the back 4 and the midfield 3 are solid. He plays Mangala and forget Gibbs White as well. So he seems to have figured things out, whereas Leicester are still struggling, even though they have the quality. And so I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
Okay. Ola, what do you think?
Quick one. It's going to be a draw for me. Leicester City is that team that I think Brendan Rodgers hasn't done a good job in that team. I think he's ruined the team. We all know what they did some years ago, winning the EPL. He hasn't improved the team since he got there. I think they're just, for me, if they're not careful, if they don't let him go, I think they might be battling with relegation at some point this season. So for me, I'm not expecting anything from them. Nottingham have, kind of impressed me. They are playing above my expectation. I was thinking they were going to come in and just go into relegation again, but see what they're doing. Steve Cooper isn't a bad manager. They might not win all games, but they are picking the game. They are winning here and there. Awoniyi is not a bad attacker. So I think these 2 teams are on the same level. I expect a draw. Nothing more. Maybe a goalless draw. A goalless draw is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I actually wouldn't blame, just to add real quick, I wouldn't blame Brendan Rodgers. I think he's lost a couple of key players this season we talked about, right? He's lost Fofana. There was a lot of, I think he faced a lot of trouble at the beginning of the season. Fofana left, Schmeichel left, which was key in their defense. So I wouldn't necessarily blame Brendan Rodgers, but we know their struggle, so no need to talk more about that.
So I actually think Leicester is going to win this game, and the reason is this: I think they need a result. Like they really need a
They
result.
needed one for a while, but they haven't gotten it.
Yeah, but I think I just don't know how much time and grace he has left. Right? And I think he needs a result to turn things around, to still, put them around so that they can avoid relegation and come back and rebuild. Fine, he has lost players, but again, he has no excuse. He's been in charge. He's a top manager. He should have figured things out. Even working with the owners to get budget, to keep good players, or to get better replacement. He's not an ordinary manager that can't see these things coming. Leicester City people are going to come for your players if they are good enough. So you should be ready for that kind of planning. I think it needs a result. I think it needs to prove that he's still good at what he's doing as a manager for Leicester. And this is the chance to do that against Nottingham Forest. If he fails to do that, I don't know what's going to become of him. He has better quality than Nottingham Forest. So
unfortunately, he has failed many times, and it's so I don't know how he's still getting.
They had a very good game against Liverpool. They had a very good game against Liverpool. It was an own goal, right? So I think they need to find a way to get back
goals,
and win the game and continue from there.
By the same player.
Yeah.
2 own goals by the same player. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about Wolves and West Ham. Wolves, the coach, I don't know if the new coach has really turned things around, but I think he's had some few results that are good. Man United went there, they beat them, but they're playing against West Ham, who is also a solid team, but has really been terrible this season, right? So Wolves, West Ham, what do you guys think?
I think West Ham will win this. Just because West Ham has a very good team and they have a very good coach. They might not have been lucky this season, but there are some games they will win, whether we like it or not. And I don't see Wolves stopping them. By the way, we all remember that one thing yesterday that used to play for Chelsea now plays for Wolves. Diego Costa. I mean, he hasn't added anything to that team, in my own opinion. He's just there on paper. But when I watch his game, I just can't believe the same guy that tormented Arsenal when he was playing for Chelsea. He hasn't added anything to that team. On the other side, West Ham has a very good manager. They've struggled here and there this season, but they still have a very good squad. So this is the kind of game I think West Ham will win, whether like a 1-goal, 1-0, or something like that. But I don't see Wolves winning West Ham in this game.
Yeah, so for me, I'm gonna go along with you as well. Speaking of teams that need results, West Ham need a result, and I think this is a game where they will find that result. Wolves are still finding their way under this new manager, and I expect a win from West Ham. Diego Costa is an injury doubt for the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, West Ham have had some time off during the week. They didn't play any games during the week, whereas Wolves played and went all the way to penalties. So West Ham have had a lot of time to rest and train for this game as well.
Very good. Piotr, you are talking, but we can't hear you.
Yeah, I think it might be on mute.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Brentford, Bournemouth. Do you think that might be an upset in this game?
That's the game for Ivan Toney. That is, I mean, the last I checked, he was still injured, but they are awful. Their awful is going to be bad for that game. If he's back, I think it's a Brentford win. There's no doubt about that. This guy is playing the best game right now. Bournemouth doesn't have an identity yet. In this season, they're just in and out. Brentford have announced themselves of what they want to get this season. They will stop any top team. See what they did against Man City? They've been very consistent in the last probably 5 games. They did the same thing against, I think, Liverpool or so. So this is a game for them to win. They are playing at home. That's an easy place to go and get a win. Bournemouth doesn't have the pedigree. They don't even have it at all. They're not even close to even drawing this game. Even Tony hopefully will be back and I'm gonna see him on the score sheet. He's gonna score one. So I see like a 2-0 win for Brentford.
Higher.
Yeah,
More
I
goals
agreed.
or 2 goals?
I think 2-0 as well. Bournemouth have been doing well as well. They've clawed their way out of the relegation, but like you said, it's still close all the way there. They're 16th at the moment, but with the form Brentford have been showing, I think they've stabilized. I think they had a shaky start, but they've had a very good run of form the last 4 or 5 games, and I expect a 2-0 win in this game as well.
Yeah, so I think Brentford will probably win as well. I expect Bournemouth to probably put up a fight. It might be too much fight for them to deal with, though, with the firepower that Brentford is going to post with Anthony possibly coming back. And I still don't know why Aston is not making a move for him, but we'll see. Lastly, Chelsea.
There's all the betting allegations against him. So I think most teams will be off him.
I think initially we felt like that was a big issue. The way things are playing, I think
it will. There's going to be investigations, right? So it will take some time before those allegations are confirmed. Okay.
You think that might be the main reason why the big clubs are probably staying away?
Oh, I think so. At this time, especially at the moment, no team is going to touch him until all of that is cleared.
Wow.
Good. Makes sense.
Wow.
So the last game that I want us to talk about before we wrap it for tonight, Chelsea Crystal Palace.
If Potter loses that game, I
guess for Potter to say, hold on, guys, I took charge. The team was in a bad situation. We know we need time. Just give me some time and let me work with these players. Even with that, shouldn't they be getting a result against Crystal Palace?
Well, the two teams, these are a typical two teams that need results. Now, you've talked about teams that need results. There is no other two teams I'm seeing right now in the Premier League that need results more than these two. Crystal Palace started very strong this season. I remember the first game with Aston, but in the last 3 or 4 games, they've been terrible. Sometimes I look at it, I can't believe it's Vieira's team. Vieira that we all like, he should have been the coach for Arsenal. But the last 4 games have been horrible for them. Now, on the other side, Chelsea, if there's a better word to describe, they're not even horrible. So these two managers are looking for a result. I haven't said that Chelsea's at home. I'll still give it to Chelsea. Chelsea is probably going to win this game. Otherwise, trust me, if the current owner of Chelsea, who are the Americans, can't fire Potter, I'm sure they'll get a fire letter from Ibrahimovic
from the fan club
right now. Ibrahimovic will help them write the fire letter to let this guy go. I mean, he's had the opportunity. 1 win in 9 games. That's how bad it is. Now, Chelsea,
but to his defense, we keep saying he's had the opportunities, right? But he's also been dealing with a lot of injuries.
No.
I just want us to be fair to him.
No.
If I was the manager of Chelsea, I would have won the game against Fulham today.
Even when Sterling was playing, even when there were no injuries, they never started well. They never had a good ride this season. Even when all the players were fit. Potter never had a good ride this season.
So if you want to do, and I think we should do an analysis, right? So when Potter came in, some of these players were already acquired, right?
Okay. Just like Aston Villa.
So and we all know that the players that were acquired, I don't think any one of us expected any magic. We saw those players and we're like, you still haven't fixed some problems around striker. You still haven't fixed problems around your defense because Aspilicueta was out for a while. And they sold, they let Alonso go. So they bought Cucurella because Reece James was injured. So the Reece James problem was already there. The striker problem was already there, right? The midfield problem was already there. Kante was missing, right? So these are the problems he inherited. The players that came in during his time are the new ones. I think even Fofana wasn't his acquisition Fofana was acquired by Tuchel. So I'm trying to be on his side for now, so that you guys can maybe see, maybe you have a different way of responding to that.
I say something to you real quick. If a team like Aston Villa, who have never make any acquisition since Unai Emery joined them, can still be having this kind of result, there is no excuse for Potter. Potter had been in Premier League even longer than Emery. Emery left after 2.5 seasons thereabout. He came back, he's getting results instantly. Let me be honest with you. If this was Ibrahimovic's team, trust me, he won't even get the job. I mean, they won't let the other guy go. That was a grave mistake they made, and I knew that they were going to regret letting their manager go. But then Potter, you've been in Premier League for how many years now? You know how this thing runs. There is no excuse for Chelsea to be where they are with Potter. There is just no excuse. Let all the players, at least they have like 6 regular players there. Still, there's no result. I don't think he has more than 2 weeks to prove himself. I think this is the game, and if he doesn't get it, if they beat them at home, it's gone.
I was going to say the same thing. I would be highly surprised if they lose this game and he's still in a job after Sunday. I think that would be extremely surprising, and I think the fan base would be in uproar. Most of the fans already want him gone. And I was just going to point out, right? So I think at the start we talked about what he's been doing. When I look at the lineups that he's brought in the past few games, it sounds like a manager. Like I said, he had the whole of the December break to work with players and to figure things out. They've only made 1 or 2 more signings, maybe 2 or 3 signings in January. So the bulk of the squad that is available to him now, yes, they've had injuries, but the bulk of the squad has been available for him to work with. And look at the lineup he started against City. He started a young boy in Brian Humphreys. He started Lewis Hall against a team the quality of City. What do you expect? You're going to get completely slaughtered. His midfield, he doesn't seem to know who, his best midfielders. He's chopping and changing. A lot of times he's losing, and then around the 60th, 70th minute, he starts bringing all these boys in. Omari Hutchinson, kind of Chukwuemeka, okay, let's just see what these boys can do. Let's just see what they can do. And it's like, you should have a game plan and you should be executing with that game plan. And to me, he's dilly-dallying. He's trying things out, trying to see what sticks. I don't know how long it's going to take him to figure things out. Jorginho starts this game, then he's dropped, then he brings in Zakaria, then Zakaria maybe isn't playing well, then 60th minute he brings in kind of Chukwuemeka or Kovacic. Like I don't know what he's doing.
So
there's no
you guys sound like the manager is the problem with Chelsea.
I agree. Like I said, I'm not a manager, but if I was a manager against Fulham today, I would have won that game with the squad available to Chelsea.
With the same squad that he inherited?
With the same squad, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see. I'm hearing different things. I've heard something around it's been given to the end of January. So if that's true, then obviously I don't think the Chelsea Crystal Palace will decide whether he stays or he gets out. If it's given to
if he loses that game and he stays.
I've also heard something around, we didn't bring him to win. We brought him in to fix the same problem like Arsenal, like City did. So he might be there for a long time. Plus, it's possible, right? They keep buying players for him. They keep buying players for him, right? Somebody is going to have to deal with those players. So bringing in another coach, who are you going to bring in? You're going to bring in someone that is going to inherit when they keep buying, right? So I don't know, but we shall see. I think this has been a great review of the games coming up this weekend. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining. We'll be back next week, and we'll be reviewing the games for next week. Thank you, and have a very good night. Thank you.